You're good. Okay, okay. If everybody can grab a seat, please. Come on, man. I know it's going to be kind of delayed because we got more people coming. But bottom line, we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna have a great time tonight. All right, we're good. We're good. Whew.
We can enjoy just a couple of moments, God, because the pandemic is real, this virus is real, and I pray for all our guests, God, healing grace, be with us tonight, God, bless the food, bless the nourishment, bless everything, all the speakers, all our dignified guests tonight that came from far, in the name of Jesus, Father, we love you. And tonight, before we go, we lift up, God, the families in Utah, in that Utah shooting yesterday, God, the Asiata family, Lord Pata, the Lord Pati family, God, and the Tahi family. We pray for them, God, and all the folks there affected by that shooting. Father, we ask, God, all these things, God. We love you, Father. We thank you for your amazing grace. We thank you for all that you do, God, all you have done, and all that you will do. Bless the evening, God. May we have a great time tonight. Cover and shield us, your hedge of protection around us, God, in Jesus' name. And all those who love the Lord said, amen, amen, amen. All right, all right. I'm privileged to be asked to MC this thing. Frank, the Samoan Athletes in Action, the Big Johnson Organization. Some of you over there, when somebody's speaking, shush your mouth. Shush your mouth. So anyway, I was honored to be asked to MC this thing. And I tell you, when Harvey hit me up and he said it was for Frank, and I said, man, Frank could have been in Tijuana and I would have went. And many of you have come because Frank's here. But the Big John Samoan Athletes in Action, I just want to touch a little bit on it. There was a time in the 70s when I was a little kid, and this young man, Big John Manmaluna, Frank's big brother, had a vision. He had a vision that was bigger than that time, just putting it on something for the community of Carson and all the other neighboring cities, San Pedro, Harbor City, Wilmington, Long Beach. And this man, when he did this, it was something above and beyond what John even thought it would be. And therefore, now you have other things that have grown, that have been a part of this movement, such as the AIGA Foundation. God bless AIGA Foundation. George and all the brothers that put that on, they're doing a great job. But all these things, guys, came back from a time in our lives when Big John put together Samoan Athletes in Action. First and foremost, he did it for the community. He did it because there were so many kids out on the streets that had no direction. Amen? They had no direction, and they didn't know where to go. So Big John, he thought in his heart, along with our brother Big Dave Tautolo and people like James Forcia, these pillars in our Samoan community. And they put together the Big John Samoan Athletes in Action. I'll tell you what, John made one phone call, and he had every NFL athlete, Frank, Manu, the Jack Thompsons, the Mosa Tatupu, all these great guys, the Tautolo brothers, everybody came. Everybody came from this one call. Why did they come? Because of John's character. They seen his character, they seen his life, and they knew, man, that John is doing something positive, something that we needed in the community. And I'm grateful because I was a kid at that time. And because of that time, all of us wanted to be like a Frank. All of us wanted to be like a Manu, like a Jack Thompson. You know, every single one of us. I thank God for Big John and the vision. It truly was a movement. And every other, I'm telling you, back in the 70s, I didn't really know what a camp was. After Big John put on that camp, it seemed like there was hundreds and thousands of camps that came after that, but everybody was charging. Everybody was charging a couple bucks here and there. Big John, no money. Got with all the boys, his brothers, his family. They put in their pennies, and they made what they could. They got these T-shirts, many of you. How many in here are from Big John's time? How many of you were kids like me? Yes. All three of you, thank you. My God. Participation. Participation. God will fight. There's more of you. I don't know if you're not trying to act your age. Hey, bro, we 50, bro. We're all 50. We're all 50. So anyway, but Big John, the kids got these T-shirts. It was proud. It said Big John, Samoan Athletes in Actions. Man, I tell you, I wore that shirt until it got holy, holy. I wore that shirt, and every time I put it on, it gave me that sense of belonging. It almost empowered me. It made me think I could play like Frank Manamaluna. I was a little short from playing like him, but it gave me the motivation. Maybe the motivation to be like a Jack Thompson, to be like a Mosita Tupu, like a Manu Supu. And all of us kids that were coming up at that time, we realized, man, hey, we can do these things. The boys did it, we can do it. The boys did it, we can do it. There's an AIGA camp going on this weekend. You young men in here, I'm telling you, it's good to be here because this is a history lesson for you. It all started back in the 70s when a young man named John Manaluna, he had a vision. He had a vision and he went after it. And all the boys, all the brothers that played ball, every D1 college player, every NFLer came together. Why? Because again, character. They seen John's character and they said, man, let's do this, guys. Let's do this. I don't even think Frank realized the impact that it would have. But I tell you, I thank God. It's the way I am today. It's the man I am today. I've grown as a man. I have children. I have 6 children. And I'm grateful because that part of my life, I was impacted by the Samoan Athletes in Action. I look across this room, I love it because 5 tables are guests, the rest are Frank's kids. His wife and kids have the rest of the tables, but maybe that's why they're not clapping at me, because they're like, I already know my papa. I already know my papa. I already know the deal. But anyway, guys, it's really good. For those of you, we have Mr. Vince Ferragamo. Man, I love you, Vince. I too was a big fan, and I tried to play like you, and little short on playing like you, Vince, but I try to copy you, and like I try to copy everybody, but it didn't work out. But I tell you guys, tonight is something very special, and I count it a privilege. Frank, your wife and your family, I count it a privilege. Thank you so much for the opportunity. All our other brothers, the NFLers that showed up, all our guys that came tonight, man, God bless you guys for coming in last minute and taking the time out. So without further ado, let's, Harvey, is the food ready? Harvey? Or Shola Harvey? Anybody? Don? Do we got any food? So I'll try to keep this tight. Let me tell the story. So Frank, when I was a senior in high school, San Pedro High School, don't boo me. At San Pedro High School at that time, we were the punching bag of Banning and Carson High, right? Now we're a powerhouse, but back at our time, we were a punching bag. Frank came to speak at my my 1982 senior football banquet. The crazy thing is Manu, my cousin Manu, my other cousin Manu was scheduled for that speaking. And Manu, last minute, I think, you know how Samoans are, the banquet was on Friday, Manu called me Thursday. He said, Pete, man, bro, you know, Manu was with the Seattle Seahawks. Frank was with the Kansas City Chiefs. He goes, man, bro, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Pete. I can't make it. But I got Frank. Frank's going to cover me. Man, when he said that, I said bye. I said bye, Manu. I said goodbye, Manu. And because remember, Banning and Pedro, that kind of connection we had. So Frank picks us up. I love it. Frank, you know what kind of car. Everyone that knows Frank knew that he was the only fob with a sob, right? Frank, I coined that saying. Frank was the only fob with a sob. Bad thing about it, all those other fobs wanted a sob, but we didn't have enough money. So Frank, he did it good. Frank was the only fob with a sob. He came over to our house in San Pedro, picked me and my brother Andrew up, and we went to the banquet. It was awesome. Frank's first words, he gets up, everybody's kind of cheering, booing, but everybody knew who Frank was. Frank says, I want to apologize, San Pedro. I want to apologize first for all the times we beat the heck out of you guys in football. So I want to apologize now. Please don't take it personal. That's the way it goes. Anyway, Frank, I love you, man. It's one of those great stories. Harvey, are we good on food, Harv? Is it here? No, okay. Well, guys, Harv, if you come, Harv. So come, Harvey, come. I asked you for a script on Monday. You know I'm an actor, so I asked you for a script. All right, guys, we're gonna squeeze in a couple of speakers because we kind of have a long program, and I have a little story of this other gentleman, Mr. the coach, the greatest coach in Southern Cal, Chris Ferragamo. Mr. Ferragamo, the coach, as you rank your way up. So come on up, Coach. Come on up if you don't mind. Thank you, Coach. Yes. Coach Ferragamo. Coach Ferragamo. So, Coach, I got a little story. Coach, I went there illegally, okay, to Benning. Right in front of Coach. Coach, this is your chair, Coach. So, anyway, Coach Ferragamo, he'll remember the story. So, I'm there with my cousin Navy and all the boys, and our first game, I transfer from San Pedro to Banning. Banning was a powerhouse. I'm trying to go to college. I'm trying to be like Frank. And they had another guy, he was pretty good, Mike Allo. He was all right. He was not bad, but he's lucky I didn't play running back, I'll tell you that right now. So anyway, Michael Allo was there. Coach Ferragamo, I get called in the office first day, Coach. It was the Pedro game. So I get called in, and I'm thinking, you know, I busted my butt all camp. I'm ready to play ball for the Banning Pilots. And Ferragamo comes in. San Pedro's coach has pictures of me catching the bus to San Pedro, right? He says, where do you live? I go, I live right here in Carson. And he pulls out these pictures, and Ferragamo's like, oh, God. Ferragamo's looking at these pictures. And I'm looking, but I had confidence. I said, no, man, I busted my butt for Coach. He's going to back me up. And Mr. Teacher tells Ferragamo, you know, if you dress him up, you guys are going to forfeit this season. And eloquently, Coach says, nice knowing you, Pete. Nice knowing you, Pete. Take care. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Chris Ferragamo. Love you, Coach.
Thank you so much. Can you all hear me? Well, I'm kind of without words tonight because this is a great, great evening to honor Frank Matamaliuna. I go back a little further than 50 years. When Frank first came to our high school, 1969 or 71. 71. He was a big kid, about 6'2". That's why I said, I need a lineman to block for my brother. He said, I'll block. So he played right guard. I got a picture right there of him playing right guard. Frank always, whatever I wanted Frank to do, he would do. He played middle linebacker. Then in 73, he became a running back. Academically, did well in school. So many great memories of Big Frank running over people. Just like Michael Allo, I had the finest Samoan players you've ever had, anybody ever had. They were the best. People, just a quick story about the Allos. When Michael Allo was very young, I was coaching Harry Allo, his brother, and I would go to Mike Allo's house, and I would go with Harry, and we'd sit at his mom's table, talk about his dad, and they brought out this pudding on the table. And I says, oh, it looks pretty good. I love pudding. So the mom reaches in with her 2 fingers and grabs some pudding and puts it in her mouth, and it looks pretty good. So I took a little spoon, ate some of it. It tasted like some dirt. I couldn't possibly eat it. Oh, but they had the best chicken and stuff. I eat at their house all the time. So many great stories about the Allos. I had one more story. Harry Allo is my wife's favorite. And we were playing a game on Friday night, and so Wednesday night, his mom calls me and says, it's Harry. I said, what's wrong with Harry? He's in San Diego. He's in jail. San Diego? How did he get down there? His 2 friends took him down to San Diego. Going to find out, they walked by some guy's car and took his briefcase out of the car. He got to put it in jail. So now it's Thursday. His mom calls me. So what I didn't know was the briefcase was from an FBI car. So I go there on Thursday, go to the front of the judge, him and his mom, and I said, look, I got to have Harry on the football team. I'll bring him back in 3 weeks for a court appearance. Please let him go. So they let him go, and so all the way home, oh, I can't believe it. So many things. But that was Harry Allo, and so many other great stories. The Michael Allo stories. Playing Carson High School at Vet Stadium. He didn't have his. He broke his arm, broke his hand right here, and had it all casted up. So I said, Rocky, bring his uniform along, just in case. Halftime we were losing 7-6. So I says, Michael, you want to play? He says, yeah. So right now, Rocky and I took the cast off, taped it up. He played. We won 14-13. I couldn't believe it. So many great stories about so many great kids. Talking about Big John, I got to tell you about Big John because I'm teaching at Banning 1964, 65, and Big John used to ride around in the cart. He kept everybody good, and nobody had any problems with Big John. Any problems at all, Big John, take care of it right now. One of the greatest kids. We always would talk. Just a marvelous, marvelous kid. Big John Maunamaliuna. Anyway, to Frank, I really, really, really love Frank Maunamaliuna. Big Frank started everything for me, helped me, and he went to UCLA, and I was so happy. One of my first guys going on was Big Frank. He did excellent. Anyway, it's an honor for me to be here to say something about Frank and all my other great, great Samoan players. I was privileged to coach them. They never said anything bad, always did what I said, and we got along really, really well. If anybody has any questions, I can answer the questions. Anyway, I have stories. more stories you can stick a stick at. The Polo Favi stories. Oh, mamma mia. Polo Favi comes to me. He came to me in what year I forget, and he says, "Coach, I want to play football." I said, "Okay, good." And he looked really good. So we got him dressed up, got him into school. Little did I know he's 19 years old. He came over from Samoa with a surfing group. He went to Hawaii. From Hawaii, caught the boat over. Finally wound up at Banning. So I put him in my first period biology class because he could hardly get to school on time. So every morning in my biology class, it's 8 o'clock class starts. He's there at 8:30. I said, "Polo," I said, "you got to be here at 8 o'clock when class starts." He says, so after practice that day, I took him to Thrifty Drugstore and bought him an alarm clock. We go up to buy him an alarm clock. I take it to his room. I put it right on his dresser drawer. I say, "Now, Favi, you're going to be on time to class tomorrow morning, right?" "Yeah." Tomorrow morning, 8:30. He comes in. I said, "Favi, how come you're late? Did you set the alarm?" "You have to set it?" "Yeah. You got to set the alarm." I can't believe it. Anyway, so many great stories, and just a wonderful, wonderful time. Great coaching time. The best ever. The best ever. Kids are dynamite. Anyhow, I want to say congratulations to Frank and his family. And if you ever need anything, you call me. We'll get together, Frank. Okay, Frank? All right. Thank you so much. Harvey Lutu, thank you for inviting me tonight.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you. You're welcome. Your seat right there, Coach. No, sit down. You can't get your jacket. You can't get your jacket. Sit down. Somebody get Coach's jacket over there. Ramel, do something. Coach needs his jacket. Coach needs his jacket. Thank you, Coach. Great stories, man. Banny's is filled with, like I said as a kid back in the 70s, man, these guys, they were giants. They were giants. They were characters that I admired. And, Big John was a funny guy. Big John loved comedy. And, Big John was, for those of you who don't really know Big John, but he had to have some sense of humor because in the Samoan Athletes in Action Clinic, it was all NFL and Division I football players, and he threw a basketball player in there named Wally Rank. So let's give it up for Wally Rank, our first NBA star. Wally, I love you. Love you all. Our next speaker is related to the first speaker, and it's his little brother. Please, everyone knows him, NFL retired Ram quarterback, Mr. Vince Ferragamo. That's right. You don't need it.
Hey, I can get up there. I'm younger than him. I told Chris, I go, "Did you tell a story about Paluti?" And he says, no, that's another one I could have told. I says, "Yeah. It didn't matter what age you were if you wanted to go to Banning, if you were Samoan. Because we had this guy playing for us who was like 33 years old. And you can't tell what age he is. He didn't have a birth certificate. He didn't have anything. So we're playing. We're getting ready for the playoffs. All of a sudden, Chris gets this call from the commissioner. It says, "You guys can't play. You guys are ineligible." "Ineligible? We lost all our games?" "Yeah, you got a 33-year-old playing on your team." So I said, man, I'm telling you, the Samoan culture and the Samoan families were epitomized greatness, especially for Chris all the years he coached. His greatest players, he tells all the time, either Frank Manamaliuna or Michael Aldo is a toss-up. A toss-up. greatest players, you know what made them great? We all know. It's a humility. Humble. They never carry off and do some crazy stuff. Score a touchdown, hand the ball over. Never jump to conclusions. They're there from the start to the end. Doesn't matter what the score is, and their heart is in it. Their togetherness. And that's what great coaches bring out of the players. Because it was by example. Chris would go to their houses, help them, get them an alarm clock. All he had to do was push the snooze button, but he forgot to set the alarm. Did Chris jump to conclusions? No, 8:30, set the alarm. And that's the way he coached. But I had to tell you a story about Frank when he came to Banning. Wow. I played with, Chris mentioned Harry Allo, which was Marlene's favorite player. Michael Allo, going against Michael, man, oh man, I'm lucky to be alive. And then that machine that Ed Bakuba had made the running backs run through it. And they used to call me paddlefoot because I wasn't fleet of foot. But he had to run through this buster. It was a machine. And I swear today, Ed, these damn headaches I get, and the CTE and stuff, that's from that damn machine I used to run through every day. But Harry, when he ran through that thing, boom, it was like it wasn't even there. Wham. And if you didn't run fast enough through that thing, you get stuck in there, and then you have to cry your way out. But when I saw Frank come to Banning as a sophomore, unbelievable. Unbelievable talent. The guy, he could play basketball. He ran track. He threw the shot put. He played football. What position? Right guard. And we had the best pulling sweep you ever seen in your life. Chris used to run the veer offense. Quarterback fakes the ball right up there, and the quarterback runs down like an option. But he had inside veer, he had outside veer, he had reverse pass veer. He had everything. Everything was veer. And when you had linemen like Frank, you could do anything you wanted. And I just marveled at the 6'2", 210-pound sophomore, can run like the wind, can block. Rocky Garibay learned from Rocky. Man, we had a great team. But it all started up front. And when I dropped back to pass, boy, it was sure pretty back there. Man, I was always lucky. I had some good guys in front. But it's all about the preparation that we would have each and every week. And it all started because the guys they represented themselves, but they also represented a great culture, great people. We're Italian. Samoans and Italians have a lot in common. We love to eat. So we're all waiting for the food. If this is an Italian event, we're all waiting for the pasta to come out, and they just keep rolling it out. And so we always got along great. All the success Frank had, I always watched him after he left Banning and became an All-American, went on to Tennessee, started as a freshman linebacker. Then he went to UCLA, went to the pros. Nothing was going to stop him. He was too great. And you know what? He was a good role model, a great role model for others to follow. I was at the Polynesian Culture Center in Hawaii. A lot of my good friends are Samoan. Went there, he mentioned Jack Thompson. What a class man that guy is. The throwing Samoan. Boy, oh boy, could he play. But you know what? More so than his athletic ability, it was his heart. It was a great guy. A guy that you could call your best friend. Just like I could call everybody. And when I met John, Malamalayuna, Big John, Big John was the powerhouse. And I was a little kid when I went to Banning High School to watch practice. Guys were out there sweating on the field, running through drills, killing each other. John was over on the side with the bags. We were sitting on the bags, and we were having fun over there. I said, this is kind of fun. This ain't hard. John made everybody feel good. He made me feel special. And I tell you what, I went on, and I played at Banning. I look forward to playing at Banning because it was guys like John Malamayuna and the family, Frank, when he came. History kept repeating itself. Great players after great players. And so I really had the privilege of playing with these guys because when you play with great players, they make you look good. And I was a quarterback, so everyone wanted to see the quarterback look good, but hey, I wasn't good. I had great people around me, and that's how we were great. And so it's a team effort, team game, and I'm glad everybody came tonight to support Big Frank, because Big Frank is, he epitomizes what it's all about. He's got a beautiful wife, very proud of his son Brandon. He was not a Los Angeles Ram, he was a St. Louis Ram. But he was a Ram. And he's doing work with the kids today. I saw that. He's doing some great work. And we're real proud of everything he's done. And the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. And for the young kids, these are great guys to look up to. They're great guys to aspire to be like. Because their work ethic was second to none. They hardly ever miss practice. I don't ever remember anybody missing practice unless they were in jail or something like that. I mean, they were always there. I don't ever remember Chris ever missing practice for 30 years. You ever take a sick day leave? I don't think so. Hey, what's that? Sick or no sick, I'm there working at Banning, working the field, chalking the field down, getting ready for practice, preparation. We learned a lot. And a lot of us go on, and we apply that in everyday life now. And I've got 3 daughters. I didn't have any sons, but I got two grandsons. Pretty cool. One's 7 years old, one's 6 months old. And the 6-month man, he makes you laugh. Makes you laugh. He starts laughing. Every time he looks at you, he laughs. You have that? Do you see that in your grandkids? When they look at you and they start laughing, you laugh right back. It's so much fun. And my 7-year-old, he was playing baseball, of all sports. He didn't play football. He's a tennis player, baseball guy. And he made the all-star team. And I said, why'd you pick this guy to be on your all-star team? I said, well, I like the way he throws. So anyway, maybe that's not such bad news after all. So we'll see what happens with him. But I do want to thank everybody. I didn't know I was going to come up and say a couple words, but it's always easy to talk about Frank because he was always the best. And I want to thank you all for coming tonight. I like to make a little small contribution to the Samoan Athletes in Action group. And but anyway, I'm glad you all here. Got the Rams. This is playoff season. It's a great time to have a banquet. You know, right now, Rams got a tough game Monday night. We'll see what happens. It all starts up front. Jackie Slater and I, we talk about it on the Fox show all the time. All starts up front. I'd say, Chris, what's wrong with the Rams? They can't run the ball. They got to blow off. When the 49ers lined up, when the Titans lined up against the Rams, they took care of business up front, and the rest is the scoreboard indicated at the end of the game. So we'll see what happens Monday night. No mistakes. If they do it, they'll move on. And we got the SoFi Stadium. Everybody been to SoFi Stadium yet? I like the outdoor stadium myself. I like the grass field. But anyway, go Rams, and thanks so much for inviting me tonight. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Vince. Appreciate you. God bless you. Let's give it up for Mr. Vince Ferragamo. Certainly, Vince, a local hero for all of us in the Harbor area. Thank you, Vince. Appreciate your kind words and your love to Frank. Harvey, how are we looking? Are we serving it out, or everybody got to get up? Are we, okay. We're gonna continue on a little bit. The food's here, guys. You can smell it. So stop making faces to me over there. You're gonna eat. I promise. I promise. The food's here. My cousin Marilyn brought it in. Her catering business. You're gonna be very happy. At this time, I'm gonna ask two guys again. These are my brothers, man, my dear cousins that I grew up with. And I'm going to ask Terry Taltolo and John Taltolo if you guys could both come up. Please welcome the Taltolo brothers. They all went to UCLA. They all went to UCLA with Frank. They all played the NFL with Frank. Thank you, Terry. John, come on up. Yep. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks, bro. Hi, Terry. You can go first and let John clean house.
Well, it's good to be here. I'm late, but I lost my keys. But thank you for having us here. Yeah.
Don't be shy.
Well, just thank you for being here.
He's a man of many words, isn't he?
No, I'll speak on his behalf, but I'm going to piggyback on what Peter was saying. Well, not literally, but anyway. Pete was talking about the Samoan Athletes International and Big John. And all I can say is back in the 70s, the vision was set. And not only was the vision set when Big John contacted my older brother Dave and James Foycia, but then obviously along with that, we had the players that were in place. I call them the gatekeepers, right? So back then, I think in the mid-70s, like Pete said, we were just kids, we were young players. I think I was getting ready to go to college, or I was either a junior or senior in high school, but the gatekeepers, that the names you were hearing were my brother Terry, Manu, Jack Thompson, Wilson, right? Frank, Marvin, you heard a lot of them. And back in the 70s, you have to remember, guys, there weren't a lot of, there wasn't a mass number of Polynesian Samoan players at that time. But what was really neat and what was exciting is that at that time, that's probably the most that you ever saw, numbers-wise, when it came to Polynesian Samoan players, playing at one time, playing D1 college, Power 5 conference, D1 college. And I'm telling you, it was an exciting time for all of us. And it was an exciting time for like Pete, like for us and the younger players. Pete, obviously, Jericho, you know, Samoa. I was at Milliken High School in Long Beach. No one ever heard of Milliken High. Come on. It was all Banning and Carson, right? So it was just us players. So we were kind of coming up behind these guys, the gatekeepers, and obviously they opened that gate, and then you saw the flood happen. So it was us guys who finally came in, and we kind of blazed our own trail, right? And then, of course, behind me, you had players like Martuane, you name it. You can go on forever. And now today, there's so many kids, so many Samoan kids that are at the high school level, the college level. I think it's really exciting because back in the 70s, we can look at these trendsetters, Frank, Manu, Terry, Jack Thompson, Pete Pele. We can look at them and we can actually be excited about something to strive for. You know what, we can achieve that goal. So today's kids, I think it's awesome. They've got today's kids who are in high school and in college, they have so many more role models than we did in the 70s. And John and Frank, Big John, wow, what a visionary. I'm telling you. So he started something, the floodgates are open. we see so many kids. Now they've got, you know, Troy Polamalu to look up to and all these other guys. So Jesse obviously is a big name. So I'm just glad to see all these role models today and to see our kids in high school and college level just kind of doing their thing. But appreciate you all. It's great to see everybody. Want to say something else?
Thank you for being here.
Thank you, John. Okay, I got you, bro. I got you, bro. Please don't rush the stage. Please, I got security over here. If you're going to rush the stage, I'm going to call security. Rowan, you know I got you, Ro. I promise. There's an order of things here, Ro. Yeah. Okay, Ro. Sorry, Brother Rowan Tupuga. I got you, Ro. I promise you. So the food is coming around, guys. Hold tight. Thank you, Marilyn and the family. Frank, there's your beautiful dinner. On the menu is lobster, fettuccine Alfredo shrimp, and egg rolls. Anyway, enjoy, guys, dinner. So it's coming around. Be patient. Thank you again for the family that was able to come through. I want to acknowledge Mike Fetter. Is Mike Fetter here? Mike Fetter right here. Let's give him a big hand for Mike Fetter. Mike Fetter is another close person to Frank, and Mike Fetter loves Frank as well. Mike Fetter, thank you for making it. Appreciate you, brother. And at this time, we're going to have a speaker, and we're proud of this guy because he played baseball. Murphy Sewell, if you can start making your way up, please give it up for our Samoan baseball player, Murphy Sewell. Come on up, Murph. Yeah, Murphy. I already blessed the food. So if you was here, you'd have known I already blessed the food. But now you want to put me on blast that I didn't bless the food. But you weren't here during the prayer, was you? Because you was looking for the food. All right, let's give it up. Mr. Murphy Sewell. You got it, bro. No worries. No worries. Thank you, brother. Good to see you. Likewise, man. Come around here. Corey, take your time.
Thank you, Peter. I appreciate it. And thank you so much for having us here. What a great event here. And Cousin Frank and Selena, this is absolutely wonderful and beautiful. And to see all the folks that come out here to support this event, this is absolutely nice. Forgive me, I got my walking stick here. People, you are the master of ceremony of all master of ceremony. This is amazing. Great to hear the stories from the Ferragamos, and also to hear about the NFL guys and the guys that have come before. This is absolutely special. Now, going back to Mike Fetters, those of you that might not be familiar with Mike Fetters was an all-state, like Frank. You know, many of us grew up back when you had basketball season, baseball season, football season, and now everybody plays one sport like forever, right? But if you ever seen, I've seen Frank and Wally Rank and those guys run the floor at Scott Park, well, not Forsythia Park, for days. I mean, before the Michael Jordans and all those other guys, these guys had the moves where you couldn't carry over and you couldn't take 8 steps before you dribble. These were bad boys. And it was amazing to see them play, but elite players. Well, anyways, in 1983, the best basketball player in the state of Hawaii, in 1983, the #1 player in basketball in the state of Hawaii, played 16 years in the league. Major League Baseball, Mike Fetters. Go figure. Yeah. #1 basketball player in the state of Hawaii, played 16 years of Major League Baseball. He just did baseball for kicks. So grateful there. I'd like to also introduce another guest that we have, Frank's second cousin. Here is my brother Ray. He was ranked #9 in the world in martial arts and fighting, and also a 13-time gold medalist with LAPD. So I want to recognize Ray that's here with us. Ray, stand up, Ray, so you can see Ray. Ray can stand up. Yep. Ray just recently retired from LAPD, so it's always an honor to have Ray here with us, and he loves his cousin Frank, so it's nice to have him here as well too. But I'm really thrilled. I've been fortunate and blessed to be part of the Frank's family. I look up to Frank. He invited me to a Banning Carson game. I've been to one. I grew up in the Valley in a place called Pacoima, and Pacoima, if you've never been there, is the Beverly Hills of San Fernando Valley. Real nice place in the Valley, and I have a cousin. We all lived there. He played at San Fernando High School. His name is Mua. They call him Mua Sua from Samoa. And so he went to San Fernando High School, played with a guy by the name of Vickers and Alan Graff. They went to USC. USC guys, so sorry UCLA guys. But he was the only guy I knew that played football until I seen Frank. And then Frank invited me to come to a Carson Banning game. And somehow I got on the sidelines. And I think they were playing at Veterans Field. You guys played at Veterans Field? At Veterans Field at Long Beach? And I kid you not, I've been in the car accidents, but I've never seen impact like that game. That Carson Banning game, amazing, the crashing that was going on there, and the helmet hitting, and it was absolutely amazing. But coming from the Samoan culture, it's amazing the things that we learn. Afterwards, they were hugging and kissing, of course, because they're all families. And seeing Marvin Morris on one side and Frank on the other side, and seeing these guys butting heads in their families, and really special. But what I really, really love about the culture, about the Samoan people, is that all you professional football players, you have no idea the hearts that you've touched. You have no idea the generations that you impacted and influenced from years to years and over families now, including myself. I've been fortunate enough to have some success in different industries and had a trucking company that we're able to make it to a multi-million-dollar corporation. I have a son who's in Major League Baseball with the Tampa Bay Rays, who's doing well. I've got a grandson that's dropping beats with a guy by the name of Timberland. Justin Timberland, dropping beats for big people. I've got a daughter that worked as a granddaughter of Wayne Johnson in the last Hobbs and Shaw movie. We've got a lot of things, but these were influenced by a lot of you that are out there. About your success and having your name and hearing the people in the television saying of Samoan, it's really, really heartwarming. And you hate to use the word pride. We try to stay away from being prideful, but we're very proud of what you've done and do for us continually. So thank you. So continue to do what you do. Teach in your homes what's important, because that's where it starts. So you hear a lot of things on the outside. Teach you in your homes the Fa'a Samoa way. And I remember Sports Illustrated many years back, they talked about the Fa'a Samoa and the Fa'a NFL. And if we do that in our homes and teach those lessons within our homes, we'll have the vision of Big John, the visions of Frank, and the visions of Samoan athletes in action in all of us. And I love you all, and thank you for being here. And also, if you can, we'll do that tonight too. If you can donate, find it in your heart somewhere, somehow, to donate to this great cause of the Big John Samoan Athletes in Action Foundation, so we can continue this work going forward. Love you all. Thank you. Oh. I'm sorry. I'd like to recognize also my cousin, David Brown. Dave, can you stand up? He has his radio show every morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. It's at L.A., what is it? David, tell me again, L.A. Island Radio? L.A. Island Radio. Oh, man, every 7 to 9 a.m. Okay, give us the call numbers. What's the call numbers again? What's the station? 747? 214. 1744. David Brown. Yeah, bad boy. Hey.
Thank you, Murph. Love you, sir. Let's give it up for Mr. Murphy Brown. Mr. Murphy Brown, thank you. Well, Murphy, I've met a few times at different functions, and the guy speaks so eloquent, and his family is a class family. Thank you, Murphy, for speaking so eloquently. And now I feel like a damn fool up here because I don't speak like that. But I'm going to try. I'm going to try. Anyway, love you, Murphy. Mr. Fetters, Mike, my apology, brother. I didn't know your resume was like that. I thought you was an actor like me, so I thought we were just two movie stars in the room. But Mr. Fetters, thank you, bro. We love you, man. All right, all right. We got, let me give you the lineup. We got one more speaker. and then Mr. Rowan Tupri Val, because it's my big brother. So at this time, we're going to shift from baseball and martial arts to basketball. Please welcome our NBA superstar, Mr. Wally Rank. Tell him, Dan.
Hello. You know, I'm glad I got to come. Big Frank called and asked me to show up. I don't think they know how much they touched our lives, Frank and Big John. So whenever he calls, I'm down. Now it's a whole different scenario where I come from. Because I played basketball. And when I played, everyone was playing football. And it's a different sport because you got to run. That's why I laugh when they say this, the football players are athletes. No, they're not. Because when you play basketball, you got to run and you don't get time to rest. So it's a different mentality. So I agree with what everyone said. When Frank, Big John, James Forcia, I always call them, you know, like heroes because of what they've done. Now, I try to tell my kids stuff about people that touched our lives. But you know, the youth nowadays, they have a different mentality, right? I'm not surprised that a lot of people that come up here, they're not great speakers, Samoan athletes, because we're not taught to get in front of people. We're taught to play and then shut your mouth and go home and be humble. So that's why I think a lot of athletes like Terry and John, you know, I've had experience recently because I think like 4 years ago I got asked to speak at the University of Washington. And I haven't spoke because, you know, I hear people come up here and say, sports is my life. It wasn't my life. My family was my life. Sports is just a game. So that's not my deal. When I hear people talk about that's my life. So when I spoke, me and the first girl that played for the WNBA, Samoan girl, her name was Naomi, we both spoke in front of a class. And they asked us questions. So it was a great experience because they were asking us questions that in my mind, I never would have thought. You know, did you have to do fouls when you were playing sports? Of course we had to do fouls. You know, that's part of the way we grew up, our culture, the way we grew up, we had to do that and play sports. Sports was just something that we told our parents that we do, but my mom and dad lived literally across the street from the house, from my high school, and didn't go to one game. And that's the way it was supposed to be. Nowadays, I see every parent putting their pictures on Facebook, but back then, that was not a big thing. The only way my dad found out is he would go to work and people would show him clippings of me in the newspaper. And then he would ask me, did you have a game last night? And I said, yeah. How much points you score? 34. He goes, yeah, I seen it in the paper. And that's it. There's no more conversation about what are you going to, you know. So it's kind of weird when I see people brag about what they've done in the past, because I know this is. I got a couple awards growing up, right, from my college and my high school, and all I ever talk about was my Uncle Plucky. I'm sure a lot of you guys know who my Uncle Plucky is. He's one of the coaches that coached me at Scout Park. He's handicapped, but he was the biggest influence in my life as far as basketball. But, it was a different mentality. I'll tell you a little story. When I used to go to the gyms, I used to play at Scout Park. But you get to a point where if you really want to get better, you have to move to play better people. So I would play at Scout Park, then I went to different parks in Compton, Isis, Lomita. And the reason is because if you're the best player in the park, you need to find another park to go to because you're not going to get no better. And so it makes me laugh when I hear people, yeah, this guy's been killing everybody at Scout Park. I'm like, well, he needs to find a different park because you have to get better. So I used to go to gyms where it was all mostly African Americans, males, and they didn't know what I was because I'd be the only non-African American in the gym. So they thought I was Mexican. Some thought I was Mexican. They were calling me Jose. Yeah, it's true. So I started wearing my ear lava lava to the gym. So they thought I was Hawaiian. Yeah, so, it was a great experience, and, basketball it's a sport that, there's a saying, you guys only see the part when we're in the game, but the time you put in to get to that point is a lot of work. I tell my son I used to practice seven hours. I can practice 7 hours a day in basketball. You can't shortcut your way to being good. Either you put in the hours or you're not going to be that good. You'll be average. So it was an honor for me to make it to that level. I was happy I made it to that level. And, there hasn't been too many. There's a couple that's made it to that level, but, you're talking 1980, 81. That's like 40 years ago. So if there's anything I'd like to congratulate Frank Salinga and Big John and James and all them guys, these guys were heroes in our community. That's straight. I'm not over-exaggerating what they did. So thank you for letting me speak. And thank my family for coming also too. Thanks a lot, Pete.
Thanks all. Love you, bro. Thank you. Give it up for Mr. Wally Rank. Wally is, he too is one of our heroes, man, growing up. We, I like to think I was like Daryl Dawkins playing against Wally, but I was nothing. But Wally, thank you. Wally came up and he goes, man, Pete, you didn't tell me I was going to speak. And I said, whatever you do, you better not cry, Wally. You better not cry, Wally. You better not cry. Anyway, too late. Anyway, at this time, we're going to have a little break in between our speakers. We have a special performance by George. If I can have George introduce his group. George Malawi. Let's give it up for George. George is the head of AIGA, our great AIGA Foundation. Proud of you, George and Arnold and all the boys. Love you, George. Yep.
Malo lava. Ya mo le faafetai le atu i lona alofa o tatou whenua I manuia. First and foremost, I give all the glory to God. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be here and I wouldn't be in the place I'm at. And all you, especially John and Big Frank, Let's go ahead and say amen to that. Amen. Thank you. When I was, I believe 10 years old, I'm over there at Scott Park, right? I think a lot of you guys have probably read the Post. I'm over there in line and we're getting our yellow shirts. That yellow shirt meant the world to us. That yellow shirt was who we were. Identity, power, the love, the brotherhood, the fellowship. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that we base everything that we continue to do. So all these young men will be seeds that we're going to be sprinkling across the country, allowing for them to go ahead and take the message, the vision to their respective places. So as we grow as a community, as we grow as a village, I ask you keep us in prayer. We ask for your support and your thoughts as we move forward to try to grow all our people, girls and boys. We don't feel good about the girls because my daughters keep on telling me, Dad, you do all the stuff for the boys, what about the girls? So softball and volleyball, we definitely do those as well. But tonight is a true blessing because when I saw Big Frank yesterday and he spoke to the 8th graders yesterday, he spoke to the high school and he spoke to the parents. The pin can drop and you can hear it. It was beautiful just to have him and all the young men just right surrounded around him. It was a sight to see. And when I was there, you know, I almost broke down, Big Frank, but you already know I can't go out like that. I want to tell you one story real quick before I go ahead and share these guys. We're going to, it was a bunch of us, all my generation. So we go up to Big John's in Utah. So all of us are going. We flew in. We thought we were bad, but we didn't win, so it was all good. But the first night, we're over there in the room, all of us packed up into the one room, playing dominoes, right? We're like, all of us in here, who the heck is knocking on the door? Open up the door, it's Big Frank. And we're playing dominoes, and Big Frank comes up and says, oh, you guys think you guys can play some dominoes? And we're like looking at Big Frank. Come on, Frank, you already know. Big Frank comes in there and tears each and every one of us out of the bedroom. But to have Big Frank there at that time was special, and it's still special to have him here, and for him just to be the beacon of light for all of us. So with that being said, I'm not going to go ahead and keep on talking. I'm just going to go ahead and share our Polynesian All-American team for this year. Hold on, Cole. I want to go ahead and introduce our two coaches that pretty much are heading the cause. The head coach, we have Brandon Manumaleuna. Is Brandon in the house? Brandon. And our DC, Sao Patu from the University of Oregon. I take that back, Brandon. We're Wildcats, so, bear down. We come from the mighty University of Arizona. Let Dan Saleomua know that. Anyways. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and introduce each and every one of them. Hailing all the way from the state of Tennessee, Koa Nautala. Coming from Texas, Caleb Sales. Coming from Utah, we got Marcus Royster. From Utah, we also have Longalima Lesa. From the state of Washington, we have Clive Pond. From the state of Washington, we got Samau Stowers. To the state of Idaho, we have Zeke Falevai. From our Northern California part, we have Inoka Stadler, Nisi. We have Chris Tuyasobo coming from Hayward. Bruce Uparesa from San Francisco. Lisala Takafua from Pittsburgh. CJ Falivai Kindness coming from Pittsburgh as well. We got Dane Fifita from East Palo Alto. Coming down south to LA, we got Ashley Tucker. I didn't miss you, Brody. We have Brody Simonson from Palo Alto. We have Bubba Armenta from Anaheim. Charles Napotu from Stanton. Edward Fanoa from Garden Grove. From Newark, we have Isaiah Vival. From Wilmington, we got Fernando Randon. From Lake Elsinore, we have Gavin Garzon. From Mission Hills, we have Jaden Letua. Not here tonight, we have Jairus Satele from Bosco. Next, we have Kanye Young from Menifee. We got Keyshawn Abreu from Compton. We have Marcus Fela from Newark. We got Peter Pilate from Anaheim. We have Ruben Hernandez from Spring Valley. We have Sione Filihia from North Hills. We have Sione Manu from North Hills as well. We have Skylar Mesa from Moreno Valley. We have Will Cuddy from San Jose. From San Bernardino, we have Tui Hala. And all the way from American Samoa, we got Marcus John Samia. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your village. As they go out and they sprinkle across the country, may they continue to be God blessed. May they continue to work in the way that God would want us to. God bless you guys. Have a good night. Can we have the OGs come up in front, have a seat? We're going to take a picture with our OGs in front of us. Fellas, hand behind your hand. Hands behind your back. Gentlemen, hands behind your back. Murphy, come on up here, Murphy. Murphy, come on up. Dan always want to eat. Come on over. Saul Patu and Brandon. Saul. Arnold, come on up here, Arnold. Arnold, come on up here. Don't hide. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Hey, Pete, you gotta get Uncle Roll, because he's talking my ear off.
All right. Ed, shh. Shh. Thank you, guys. Let's give another big hand for the AIGA Foundation. The AIGA Foundation. I love you, bro. Let's give it up for the AIGA Foundation. This is, again, guys, if we could all take our seats. This is, again, these kids, this is the fruit of John's labor. This is the fruit of all the players that were involved in the Samoan Athletes in Action. Thank God, George and Titus and Arnold, it'll allow that these brothers, they took what they learned from Big John's camp, from Big John's Foundation, and they put it forward, they played it forward. God bless the AIGA Foundation. I miss my brother Titus. George, wonderful job, man. George, I love you, Arnold. Thank you. Thank you, guys. A couple of big names, man, that were our big brothers in the audience. Want to lift up the Lutu brothers, Mike and Dave Lutu are here. Although they went to Carson, they're still, man, that's right. Carson Cousins are still our brothers. Mike, Dave, please say hi. Mike, Dave, where you at? Mike Lutu, Dave Lutu, thank you, Dave. Thank you, Michael, the Lutu family, appreciate you. We have, so you guys see these, all this technical table going on. So I want you guys to know this will be televised, all right? Listen, guys, it's really important information. It'll be televised in August 25th in Croatia, okay? Listen, guys, don't laugh. August 25th in Croatia at 2 in the morning. So if you got a friend or family in Croatia, tell them to record it for you guys, okay? Hey, that's how the budget is. That's why, like Mr. Vince Ferragamo said, please donate, because we broke. We need your money, please donate. Thank you very much. AG Sports is the true link. It's on Facebook. Sandra and Alfred, just give them a hand over here. They've been televising this, 3 cameras. So if you go on AG Sports, you're able to see tonight's event as well as tomorrow's games on AG Sports on Facebook. Is that right, Sam? Yes. Thank you, Sandra. Appreciate you guys. And also, I was talking to Ed over here. We got a text. We don't have an audio machine. I asked Sandra if they had it because the quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs wanted to send his love. You know, the Tongan guy, Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes wanted to give Frank some love. So thank God for our Tongan quarterback over there, Kansas City. While I'm on that other note, we have another chief in the house, okay? And this guy, man, so Dan and I, Dan Salimur, Dan is he's my brother, man. Me and Dan, we go way back. Dan and I have similar careers in the NFL. Now, Dan was drafted in the National Football League. I was drafted in the Netherlands Football League, okay? Don't laugh. Rowan was in that league too. So me and Rowan, we were drafted in the Netherlands Football League. But please, Dan had a great career. and with the Kansas City Chiefs, where Frank was at. Please welcome, if you don't mind, Dan, gracing us with their presence and your kind words. Please give it up for our nose guard, retired NFL player, Dan Saleomua.
All right, real quick, Frank. Again, they call me last minute. Hey, we're gonna do a thing for Frank. Is there a processor involved? Oh, Big D, come on, man. You know we're on a budget. So I'm like going, damn, Frank got me again. Every time I do something for Frank, I gotta pay for it. We have the camps in Utah, LA, all over, San Francisco, Las Vegas. All the other coaches get flown in. I'm on my own ticket. I said, Frank, man, that's cold-blooded, but what did I do wrong? What did I said, Frank says, Dan, you know you got it like that. I said, like what? Come on, Big D, whatever you need. I said, I love you, man. You know how to sugarcoat that for me. So every time they call me, they say, Dad, we need you down here. Okay, Frank, I need some gas money. It was 306 miles of Phoenix, Arizona. But it looks like Vince said, we need a donation for Dan's gas tank, please, for our motor mother. Anyways, real quick, I was fortunate enough to meet Big John. We went to go watch Frank play Long Beach State while he was at San Jose State. Tony Loria, oh, he's my cousin. Tony's my cousin. Anyways, we went to go watch this game. Me, Big John, and Tony. Anyways, hey, how you doing, bro? How you doing? I'm only a senior in high school. I'm a participant of one of these Samoan Athletes in Action Camp. I'm the outcome of what happened by attending this camp. No. The goal was somebody gave me a chance. Hey, not too many of us can have that opportunity. But I was telling Terry and John Totolo, Manu Tuyasopo, Moses Tutupu, you know, they were all here. Samoa, you know, Jack Tyler. They were the coaches at the camp that I went to. And I'm like, oh, man, I ain't never heard of none of you guys, man. No, oh, yeah, that's the other thing. I'm from San Diego. So I didn't live up here. I didn't go to Banning. I didn't go to Carson. Did we go to Paramount? Is Paramount a school? But I'm just saying. Hold up, Frank. Come on now. Impact, Frank. What your brothers and all these coaches did for me. You gotta understand, you know, here I am, a Samoan kid, far Samoa, you know, go to church, do your vows, right? My football. Yeah, you guys remember that? My football. No, come on now. All I'm saying was, the reason for the camp that I went to, and later on became a coach, was that somebody gave these guys a chance. But the part they're not telling you is that they made the most of that chance. We know a lot of players who can play good football, good baseball, but are they willing to do the work? One of the biggest things we had challenges for me, go to class. What? No, we're Wally. I can run, Wally. I can run, but I still had to go to class. Oh, yeah, go to class. Yeah, it was hard. I try to tell people that. You got to go to class, right? You know, I was one of those, you know, scared of my mom, scared of the football, scared of the fun. I'm a typical Samoan kid. Except the one biggest thing is, don't let your mama down. Don't let mama know you're going to get kicked out of school. But I just remember, now think about this. Here I am, 1982, I was only 16 years old, and I remember watching all these Samoan coaches. There was a lot of college coaches, but they were all given a chance. And what I took out of it was, I hope someone gives me a chance. I was fortunate enough to get a football scholarship, just like my other brothers did. But the scholarship's not for you. The scholarship's for your parents. Come on now. That's one less burden that a Samoan parent would like to alleviate from themselves. Hey, man, am I using my words correctly, man? I'm just saying, hey, you know, we got to speak correctly, right, bro? No. You know what? I'm practicing, man. I'm practicing. But I'm just saying, I was fortunate to take a chance on, someone gave me a chance, Frank, back in Kansas City. The rest was on me, Frank. When they opened the door, it's up to you to walk through. Frank, watching you guys, all you guys before me, because like I said, those guys are back in the 70s. This us in the 90s. Me, Jesse, Mark Tournay, P.O. Sagampoja, the Noga brothers. See, we started, you opened the door, John, Terry, Frank, Morse, Manu, and then here comes Tournay, Salamua, Richard Brown, Ezra Tuaolo, you know, all these Samoan kids. And then the worst part was, it was like, hey man, you know, someone gave us an opportunity. Don't mess it up. Don't mess it up. But just, you know, here we are in 1982. Oh man, what we doing out here? Well, we got a free t-shirt. We came for the free t-shirt. We didn't get the free lunch. That was the Boys and Girls Club. We didn't go to the free football game because that was the YMCA. But, you know, they didn't charge. They didn't charge. But, man, those snacks were good at the Boys and Girls Club. I just want to say, Frank, I'm honored and privileged to be here and share this moment. And like I said, Arnold Ollie. Arnold, where's your hand, Arnold? Is Arnold here? Arnold, anyways, real quick. Arnold was a young brother that came into the league, but he lived with me in Kansas City. He was a great player, but Arnold never gave up. And to see him here today, I think about Arnold took advantage of the opportunity that he had. I talk about all these guys and all the different challenges that we go through, but how many of you take advantage? Today we saw these young kids. Oh, they left. Good. Now there's more food. Hey, man, who gonna eat only just one piece of chicken? Not us. Why, look at you, huh? Frank, I love you, bro. If there's anything you need, I'm always there for you, baby. I want to say thank you to everybody, but most of all, thank you, Selena. I love you, Frank. Oh, yeah, don't forget to cheer on the Chiefs when they play this weekend. All right, Chiefs. My homie, always telling you, man. Hey, man, why you gonna yell at her? Oh, I'm gonna put that on video. Hey, put that on YouTube.
You know the tongue in my own man. You know that was a good one, Dan. Let's give it up for Mr. Dan Salimore. I love Dan. Because the way Dan speaks, you could tell he's from the San Diego School District. You know what I mean? You know, open the door. Open the door, Frank. Open the door. Right, Frank? You open the door or you fall on the floor. Right? But you got to open the door, Frank. Love you, Dan. LA Unified School District, like Frank, we speak good over here. We speak very not Murphy Sewell eloquence, but we're in between San Diego School District and Murphy School. LA Unified, give it up. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, Arnold Ollie, don't mean to put on blast that he run 4 plates to his car, so he's probably still on his way back. So anyway, Arnold, we love you. Our next speaker, man, I admire this guy. Rowan, come on up, Rowan. Rowan Tubuival, guys, please give it up for Rowan. Rowan is special. Him and Frank are very close. Rowan, I'll be honest, he slipped me a $100 bill. He gave me $100 and I'm going, hey, bro, is that it? So he gave me 200. Rowan Tubuival, my hero.
Okay. Well, you know, impromptu, so I thank you for the opportunity to be able to speak tonight. Thank you so much. But in fact, Frank, thank you. You represented all of us, not the pros, not the NFL guys, not the guys that went on, but all of us that were just guys. They were just guys. So thank you, Frank. Thank you so much. And again, wonderful to have everybody here tonight. Thank you so much for everyone that's here tonight. We know why you're here, and it's wonderful to have everybody here for this moment. Thank you so much. Brother, thank you so much. Thank you. Mahalo. Love you. Love you.
Thank you, Ro. I love you. Thank you, Ro. Mr. Ron Tupuao. Thank you, Ro. Ro is a legend player in his own right and coached many, many years and was able to impact the lives of so many young people, including myself. Thank you, Rowan. At this time, I'd like to call up, as he makes his way up, Mr. Stanley Snow. Please come on up, Stan. Stanley Snow is the first colonel in the Air Force ever in the history for any Samoan colonel. I was also in the military, the Boys and Girls Club. I was also a colonel. I was a colonel at the Boys and Girls Club. Not like Stan, but Stan was in the Air Force. I was in the San Pedro Force. But anyway, Stan, come on up, Stan. Please give it up for Mr. Stanley Snow. Love you, brother.
Caught me by surprise. Nope. I'm honored and surprised to stand here because of the caliber of people that have spoken before me. I really don't know what to say. I was one of those kids that grew up at Scott Park. Grew up with Big John and lived in the garage for all the garage boys. I have to admit, my sophomore year, I went to Carson High School. And I got kicked out because I lived out of the district. And as soon as I got to Banny, Coach Ferragamo met with me. And he put me in his class. And all the football players had to be in Coach Ferragamo's class. He put you in the front row. And he made you write down notes. And I learned how to write notes because of Coach Ferragamo. He made us study. He made us pass our classes. When I graduated from high school, I didn't get a scholarship, and I thought sports was my chance to get my education because my family couldn't afford it, like many of our families. So I went to junior college, and I decided I continued to play. I was a backup strong safety, and I enjoyed that. Then our starting quarterback got hurt, and they put me in, and I ended up starting at quarterback, and Coach Pakuba was there as well. And Coach Pakuba was a Marine, and he was a tough coach, but he was a tough Marine too. And he made sure we never forgot that. My dream as a kid was to be a fighter pilot. I used to watch the Blue Angels and the Thunderbirds, and I always watched the airplanes up in the sky. And Frank had his Volkswagen Bug that he got when he was at UCLA, and he would always ask me, "What are you looking at?" And I'd hear the airplanes flying, and I would just watch them. And for me, it was something that was a dream, but it was not a possibility because there were no role models that were Samoan. I really, in my heart, thought that in order for me to be a pilot, besides a banding pilot, was I'd put that in. I had to. In order for me to be a pilot, I thought I had to be either rich or palangi, or white. And I didn't think there was any other way, so I never thought about that. I did well enough at Harbor College that I got a scholarship to Long Beach State. And while I was there, I was doing well during spring training. And then I went up to San Jose where Frank and Wally was playing. And we spent, it's funny, college kids, back then, Frank had boxes and boxes of albums, but we had no food. We got some bread and got some, stuff at the store, but we got a chance to talk, and it was just the atmosphere. I felt really comfortable because Frank was a role model to me, to all of us. And at the time, I was going through. I was asked by my church bishop to serve a church mission And I told him no, because my parents expect me to finish school. So I went through this phase and this challenge, and I talked to Frank about it. And knowing those of you who know Frank's faith, he's very, very strong in his faith. He said, if you choose to serve God first, you can't go wrong. It's not it'll never be a bad decision or the wrong decision. Football will always be there, but do what is in your heart, ask the Lord, and he'll answer your prayer. So I did, and it led me to leave school, and it was a hard thing for my family, but I felt for me it was the right thing to do. So I left, and I remembered the teachings that I had from Coach Ferragamo and his staff. They taught us not just about football, about life, about being men, being leaders. He challenged me and made me a team captain on my last year at Banning. And I wasn't one of the stars on the team, but he had faith and confidence in me. And that gave me confidence when I went into the military to seek an opportunity to be a pilot. It didn't work out at first, but then when I came back from my missionary service, all these doors opened. And one of them was the opportunity to get into ROTC and become a pilot. I did that. And I transferred to BYU, and there was a coach there, Norm Chow. His brother was a fighter pilot, and I told him what my dreams were, and I walked on to the team, and I was doing well, but I talked to him one day, and I was struggling because he wanted me to redshirt, and redshirting is hard when you feel like you're better than the ones who are playing, but you got to be humble, and so I talked to the coach. And I asked him, what is my future here in this program? And so he said, what is your dream? And I told him, my dream is to be a fighter pilot. And he said, my brother's a fighter pilot. If you want to be a fighter pilot, make that your passion. Football is here, and it's an avenue. It's an opportunity for you to get an education, and you should use it that way. If the opportunity to make money comes, then it depends on how hard you work, and you can be successful there. But if your dream is somewhere else, seek that dream. So I did. I focused on working on my grades, being competitive, and fortunately I was able to earn a pilot slot. This is as far as any Samoan has come to becoming a pilot. I graduated. I did well enough where I was nominated and selected to go to a special program called Euro-NATO, Joint Jet Pilot Training. We train with European pilots and specifically fighter pilots so that you can graduate and you go straight to fighter training. And I earned my wings. And my family was proud. And there's the thing that we always remember, and it's an important part of who we are if we're successful, is to remember your roots. Remember where you came from. Remember the people that guided you along the way and supported you. I remember my friends in Carson, my experiences at Scott Park, my high school, my family, because those are the ones that helped me focus in a direction that was a good direction. People like Frank and Big John, and all of you. I found success in the military. I was able to serve. I flew A-10s. I flew F-15s. I was an instructor teaching fighter pilots how to be fighter pilots before they went to Desert Storm. I got to do many things I dreamed about and never thought I would be able to do. And doors were open. I ended up serving 30 years in the military. And I served, I had combat missions. I flew in over Iraq. I got the opportunity to fly with the airlines, and I flew for United Airlines for 29 years. I got to, I took the early retirement as a 777 captain, flew everything that's Boeing and Airbus. So I had a good journey. And really what I just want to say, and I know this, I'm getting long-winded, is I was a proud Samoan. Every time I did something, I let people know I'm Polynesian from Carson. My chief pilot, he says, he's a Samoan from Compton, so he can't really swim. Because he was a swimmer in college. And I said, that's okay, I can fly. And so I'm grateful for these leaders and examples, for all of you. I remember at Scott Park as a kid watching Marvin Morris, and he was a man among at high school. He was a man that made everybody look small, and so was Frank, and guys like Rowan and Randy Morris, and all those guys were leaders. James Foycia, if you ever went out of line at the park, he told you, and he would kick you out of the park. And you had to earn your way to come back to the park to play at the gym. But that's because he knew that you could do better. And that's the whole purpose of the AIGA Foundation and Big John Samoan Athletes in Action, giving opportunities for our kids to see that you can do anything you want. You just have to bear down and do it. The kids today have so many opportunities that we never had, but they need to realize it. And that's our opportunity to give back. Everything I try to do is to give back because I didn't do this by myself. Everything I achieved, it wasn't by myself. I had friends, I had support. I grew up with the Alos. I grew up with so many of you who lived here in Carson, and we grew up together, and that's what made us successful. And so I'm grateful for this opportunity to say a few words. Again, I think if I didn't have the guidance and direction of good people like Big John and Frank along the way, of mentorship with Coach Ferragamo and even Coach Vonegel when I was there, he kept talking to me about my potential, and I never could see that within myself. But we can, you can, many of you have. Keep doing that, because this next generation, they're facing challenges, and we need to be able to help them. Thanks, Pete, for the time, and I appreciate it.
Thank you, Stan. God bless you, bro. Let's give it up for Stan. Stanley earned his wings. Let's sing that one time for Stan. I believe I could fly. Come on. I believe I could touch the sky. I think about it every night and day. Spread my wings and fly away. I believe I could soar. You see me coming through that open door. Stanley Snow, guys. Malo, Stan. And bro, I did that with all love and respect, Stan. Because ain't nobody ever was another colonel like you in the Air Force. We a bunch of dummies that came after you, man. Me, Sally Amor, Ali. We didn't go to school. Like Dan was being honest. Dan went to Arizona State, got a degree in luau's. No, that's what Dan's degree is. Anyway, at this time, guys, Mike Fetters, I already gave him a plug. Please, Mike Fetters he says he has to say something, and Mike Fetters gave me $500. Please come on up, Mike. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate you, brother.
As Frank knows, I'm not a good public speaker, but I came all this way to honor him and to be here for him. And when I was told that he was coming here and asked me to come because of the Samoan Athletes in Action, people talk about the impact here in the city that he's from, the Carson, Banning, all that whole thing is awesome. The banter that goes around is awesome. But the impact goes further than this city. I was born in Van Nuys, California, raised in Neville Beach, Hawaii. And I was a young boy sitting in a school, and Samoan Athletes in Action showed up, and they talked to the students at the school. And young, little boy, Shane, my mom told me that, and first of all, let me tell you something. I might look white, but I am Samoan. All right? I am a suapaia, okay? And my mom would, you know you're good when you don't talk about yourself, but everyone else brags about you. My mom would brag every day about that man. Unbelievable football player, basketball player, knew his whole story. So when he came to our school, I was probably in the 7th grade, 8th grade, and he was talking, and I was like, that's my cousin, that's my cousin. Like, yeah, right, no chance. So that's my cousin, man, and I was too embarrassed to go introduce myself to Frank at the time, because another little kid wants my autograph. So I stayed away from that, and I never got to meet Frank. We had a family reunion a couple years ago, and I was talking to another relative, and I was talking about, man, I hope Frank shows up. All these years and all the accomplishments, man, it started because of the motivation from one man. That's Frank Monomaliuna. No, it's not football. It's baseball that I played. I played football, too. It wasn't quite as good as any of these guys sitting in this room, for sure, right? But it was humbling when I got there, and I said, hey, man, and he pulls up in his truck with his son, Brandon. And I'm like, man, that's him right there. And I didn't know how to act. So I walked up to him and said, hey, man, what's up, cuz? He goes, what's up, cuz? I said, hey, man, I've been wanting to meet you for years. I'm 57 years old, man. I'm 12 years old. I've been trying to meet you since then. And he goes, hey, man, I've been wanting to meet you, too. Me? Like, and I told him the story about when he came and he spoke to our school, and man, I was so proud. I'm still proud to this day, and I would have felt remiss if I didn't come up here and say something, how he was the motivation for me as a young boy to take my journey into athletics. Loved sports my whole life, didn't know what it was going to be. I played basketball. That was the motivation right there from Wally Rank. You know, my last name's Fetters. Rank don't sound Samoan either, right? So, but maybe that's why you were the best Samoan basketball player ever to come out of here, right? So for me, it was the motivation that all you OGs, you know, you guys talk, you tease each other and you banter about. And Dan Salerno, I live in Arizona too. At least you stayed eligible, brother. That's all that mattered, right? But just thank you. I just want to thank you for asking me to come out here. I don't do many things like this, but because it was him and he asked, and because of what Samoan Athletes in Action did for me and motivated me and able for me to establish what I was able to do in my career, I just want to say thank you, man, and I love you.
Mike Fetters, guys. Mike Fetters. Mike, I give you a new Samoan chief name. It's Mike Feta. Okay? Or Mike Feta. No more Fetters. You want to be Samoan, you got to take the title too. Give it up for Mike Feta. All right. Guys, we're coming to an end, but before we go, I kind of touched on, everyone knows, and I like Mr. Or awesome Vince Ferragamo. He brought up donations at this time. Before we go, guys, this is a foundation where it's something, remember, it was birthed back in the 70s. And now, like everything else, this was a foundation. They didn't ask for no money. Guys, like George said, like me and my brother Andrew and my cousins, Eric Tortola, we wore that shirt with pride, man. We wore that shirt until it ripped apart, shredded. Amen. So, man, I ask you guys tonight, before you go, and at this time, because we're coming to our last speakers, please make a donation, whatever you can. I see some of this beautiful table right here. Let me just help you spell million. M-I-L-L-I-O-N. Just to throw it out there. Just to throw it out there, OG. I see you. I see you. So anyway, please, guys, don't leave here without making an impact like John did. Even way past John's been gone. And it's still impacting lives today. These kids that went out here, it ain't going to happen with no money, guys. It ain't going to happen. Everything costs money. Everything costs money. We had a great, did you guys have a good time tonight? Did you guys have a good time? Yes. We had a great time. We had a great time. So please, before you guys go see Harvey or see one of our guys on the team, please make a nice donation if you can, in any way you can, please. Again, you know how to spell million, right, OG? I got you, man. Anyway, our last speakers, as I call them up, let me ask, let's give it up for Frank's son, Brandon. Brandon, come on up. Brandon will be followed by Frank's beautiful wife, Selena, and then Frank will speak last, and then I will close it after that. What's up, B? Yep, love you, man.
How's everyone doing? It's an honor to be speaking in front of you guys. I know a lot of faces here I've seen as I was growing up, so I know you meant a lot to my dad and myself and the way I was brought up, so just good to see everybody. You know, looking at my dad, the good thing about when your parents get older, those slaps don't hurt as much. So we'll have a little fun tonight. I was, I don't know if some of you know I coach in high school now, so I was actually at school this morning, and Chip Kelly came and was at the school talking about some kids. And we were talking about UCLA, and I mentioned my dad played there. He played for Coach Vermeil. We were talking about Coach Donahue, and he was just saying how good of guys they were. And I was just like, yeah, my dad went there, had a great time. My parents, my mom went there. And, you know, I was made in Westwood. And he kind of laughed, and I was like, no, literally, I was made in Westwood. You know? It was kind of funny. I'm up here now, and I was listening to a lot of the banding talk. My dad has dragged me to a few banding alumni picnics, so I've had a great time learning the pilot tradition. Been around there when my dad coached. I was able to be a ball boy all those years. But it's good to hear some of the stories. I realized that Narbonne's not the only cheaters in LA City now. Shout out to Narbonne, Harbor City in the building. No. But in all honesty, the thing about having a dad like that I've been able to have is, or fortunate to have, was that, you know, you sit in the room and you hear people talk, and a lot of things, as myself, you take for granted because it's your dad. You know, you don't really think, you know, my dad. I don't really, you know, it's my dad. So you hear all these stories, and then you realize the time that you've had with them, and you've kind of taken a little bit for granted. So, you know, just being here, listening to the stories, being appreciative of the lessons that I've learned while being around him and the people he's had me around has, you know, helped me get to some of the places I've been today. Some of the things that my Uncle Big John was able to accomplish, and then my dad was able to carry on, and then George as well is carrying the torch with that. And we all have our own part in it, you know, helping youth or whoever the case may be. You just realize how much the village and family means to this community. You know, we talk about Scott Park. A lot of the things that I learned, I was at Scott Park. You know, I was growing up, you know, some of the kids are like, you're not Samoan. And then I go play at Del Amo Park, you Samoan, why are you ever here for? You know what I mean? So I was going back and forth all those years. I'd tell people I used to get chased out of, I used to have after school program at Dolores, and the kids would chase me out, and I'm like, I had to show them my school ID. I'm like, look, Manu Malayuna. And they're like, okay. I said, can I have my backpack now? You know. But it's just, you know, the legacy that we've had in Carson, in the South Bay area, that my uncle and my dad were able to carry on has, you know, caused a lot of these things to be able to happen. I know Wally had mentioned, you know, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And, you know, inadvertently, you know, I help youth. It wasn't something that I just wanted to do. It just kind of inadvertently happened. But I know because of how my dad was and how my uncle was. And my uncle passed, I was only 4 months old. So, you know, a lot of the things that I know about him are just through a lot of you guys. You know, and just some of the things that I've heard that he's done in the community. And some of the guys, I know I always used to hear the garage boys. And, you know, all these dudes like, yeah, I live near your grandma's garage. I'm your uncle. I'm like, okay. So now I got like 30 uncles. And then they always said the garage boys. I'm like, okay. But, you know, just to touch on my dad, the impact he's had on me. You know, growing up, I would always hear, oh, Big Frank, that's Big Frank's son. You know, it got to a point where I started calling him Big Frank, and he, you know. What's up, Big Frank? He had to check me a couple times, but you know, it's just, that was his name, you know what I mean? And just you inadvertently trying to fill his shoes. You know, I always, my little son, I have my middle son, he's 11 now. He's a big football guy, and he's like, hey, Dad, you played fullback and tight end? I was like, yeah. What position did Papa Frank play? A middle linebacker. Oh, so who would win if you guys had to block each other? I was like, what? Me. I'm taking that down. Nah, you know, my dad's a real humble man, and that's probably one of the things I didn't get from him. You know, I'm a quiet person, but I talk a lot of trash. But no, it's just been a blessing to not only from when I was a child to when I got to high school to when I was in college, people recognize my name. When I was in the NFL, people would recognize my name and always say, "That's Big Frank's son." Do you know Frank? I was like, yeah, that's my dad. Oh, oh my God, your dad is this, your dad is that. And it's just a reminder that, and now I coach now, and I coach a lot of Polynesian kids at the school I'm at. And the thing is, I always try to tell them, remember, you do it for the last name on your jersey. Now, we don't have the last names on our jersey, but you know, so, you know, when I hear that, when I have that name on my jersey and I see the respect that people pay him, it makes me go that much further to try and represent his legacy as best I can. Obviously, I'm not perfect, but you know, I've tried my best to do what I can. You know, as you grow older, and I just turned 41 a couple weeks ago. I have 3 little ones, and you kind of go through things, adult things, and you never really realize how much your parents do for you. And I never had this conversation with my dad, so it's probably the first time. It was funny, this is a side note, but you know, when I was younger, we'd go see my grandmother, and she would always cry. And I was like, I asked my older sister, like, why is she always crying when we come over? And then she was like, oh, she's just happy to see you. Or, you know, it was just one of those things, like grandma was always crying, no matter what. Happy, sad, she just would cry. You know what I mean? So I'm feeling like that right now a little bit, talking about my dad. But, you know, he's inadvertently changed, made me the man I am. And I appreciate him for that. You know, parents aren't perfect, and they're not perfect, and us as kids, we sometimes hold our parents to an unfair standard. And I'm guilty of that at times, but I know he cared a lot about me and my brothers and sisters, and he's been a great influence to me. And you know, it's unfortunate that we wait till we get older to realize these things, but you know, I'd rather realize it now than, you know, years from now when he's not able to hear this. I appreciate him. Obviously, I'm not the only person he means a lot to, because this room would be empty if it was. I'm gonna continue to try my best to carry on the legacy of my uncle, my dad, and George, and what the AIGA Foundation is doing, Samoan Athletes in Action. Whether I have a tag to what I do or not, I'm still gonna try to help the kids as much as I can. I've been afforded a lot of opportunities because of the sacrifices of a lot of the adults in here. So I'd be selling a lot of kids short if I didn't put my hand back to raise other kids up. And you know, that was something that my Uncle John, Big John, had always stressed. And you know, so I'd be doing a disservice to my family if I didn't do the same. I will say this. I was with my older sister. We were going through some old pictures, and I was watching, looking at some of the pictures from college. My sister had of Wally, my dad, in San Jose, and you guys had a great time in college. And the apple doesn't fall far from the tree in that as well, because I had a great time as well. I don't want to keep you guys too long. I know you guys have been hearing a lot of people talk all night, but again, I appreciate what my dad has meant to a lot of you. It's gave me a different outlook on how what my name means to what they've made our name mean, and how I should approach dealing with our youth and a lot of people in our community. I'm gonna try my best to carry it on. I'm glad I could be here to speak on my dad's, or speak towards my dad about this. Thank you. That's it. Love you, Dad. Big Frank.
Thank you, Brandon. Beautiful words, man. Narbonne's cheaters, boy. I went to San Pedro, man. There's some cheating fools over there, man. I ain't gonna lie. Narbonne. Now they're in high school jail forever. Anyway, guys, at this time, if Jericho Torlolo, please, is coming up. Jericho, come on up. Let's give a hand for Jericho Torlolo. Our brother Jericho's gonna issue Frank a certificate. Jericho, my brother Jericho, I love him. He just got out of jail last night, and he was in for computer fraud. But anyway, Jericho, please give him another hand, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening, everyone. It's an honor and privilege to be here this evening, and to honor a great gentleman. And he's been a big influence on my life. How many of you got that poster that was sent out through internet or through Facebook or Instagram? If you notice on there, there's two posters on there. There's two postcards that they used to have. And back in 1976, Big John gave me a call, and he asked me if I would like to be part of the Big John Samoan Athletes in Action. And at that time, I was still in high school. It was 1976. I was a freshman. And I haven't told this to too many people, but this is the big influence that that the Big John and the Samoan Athletes in Action had on my life. I was the only high school kid in that poster. Everyone else was D1 or playing in the professional, in NFL at that time. And when Big John called me, I said, sure. You know, he said, you'll be working with Jack Thompson, who was the throwing Samoan back then. He was in the running for the Heisman Trophy. And I was a freshman at Paramount High School, East Compton, you know. And I remember when I got to the camp, he said, you're going to be working with Jack. And I was awestruck. You know, I was just a Samoan kid. You know, I wanted to go to Carson or Banning because that's where all the Samoans were going. But, you know, my family moved up to Paramount, which is about, you know, probably 20, 30 minutes away. And anyways, all I remember, and those of you who coach, just understand that the words you say, you never know who's listening at that time. Because during that time, there was about 12 kids that were with part of the quarterback group. And Jack, he stood up and he was talking, and somebody else, some little kid was talking, and he said, listen, when someone speaks, you give them the respect and you be quiet and you listen. And I was like, whoa. It was like, you know, back in the days when E.F. Hutton speaks, everybody listens. And I was like, man, I was just standing there. And he was talking about him being the first Samoan quarterback. Well, actually, I don't know if many of you know, the first Samoan quarterback was Bill Cravens out of San Diego in 1960 and 1961. He went to the University of Utah. But because of his last name, you know, they didn't know he was like Fetter and Wally Rake. You know. I'm sorry, Feta. And what's Wally's Matai name? Rankle. All right. but anyways, when Jack was talking, he was telling the kid, he goes, listen, I am Samoan. Samoan blood runs through my veins just like it does yours. So if I can do it, you can do it. And at that time, I was planning on being a quarterback at Paramount, but one of my junior high friends had told me, you can't play quarterback because we have this kid who's been playing Pop Warner who's been our quarterback for the last 4 years. So Samoans don't play quarterback. They play lineman, linebacker, right, defensive line. So when I was going to that camp, I was wondering, maybe this guy was right. Maybe I can't play quarterback. But when the words came out of Jack's mouth saying, if I can do it, you can do it, it changed my whole life. Because when I went back to school that next day, I stayed at quarterback. And 4 years later, I had the opportunity to sign a scholarship to Rice University out in Houston. And and the history is, Bill Cravens was the first quarterback, Samoan quarterback. Jack and Joe Paupau were 2 and 3, because actually they were the same year. And then Samoa was the quarterback in Carson. And I was actually the fourth Samoan quarterback to go to D1 school. And I didn't realize the significance that was, because this past year, the first 2 Samoans committed to Rice University. It was the first time I graduated back in '84. So it's been like almost over 35 years that another Samoan kid signed at Rice University. The problem is, Rice University is known as the Harvard of the South. So it was hard to get in. It was like Stanford. The reason I'm saying this is because those of you who coach, you never know who's listening. Those words that Jack spoke at that camp was the only thing I remember from that whole camp. And that was over, I think, 40 years ago. And I got a chance about 3 years ago. Jack was one of the honorary captains at the AIGA Foundation camp of an all-star game a couple years ago. And I finally got a chance to tell him the significance that he had in my life. And it was so nice because he had tears in his eyes, because we kept in touch, just via Instagram and things of that sort, but he never knew the importance it was. And I told him, I gave him a big hug, told him, man, thank you, because if I didn't hear those words, I probably would have been a wide receiver back then, and I probably never would have had an opportunity to get a scholarship. So all you coaches out there, and those who teach, be careful what you say, because you never know who's listening. All righty? So appreciate your time, and I want to pass this certificate of recognition. This is from Assemblyman Mike Gibson. A certificate of recognition presented to Frank Manamaleunga, Samoan Athletes in Action, in recognition of being a pioneering Samoan to play in the National Football League. Your commitment and dedication to the sport you loved, in addition to your tireless efforts in helping the youth to grow as a person, as an athlete, ambassador to do good in the community. I commend you for the great things you have done in the 64th District. Congratulations, Mike A. Gibson, Assembly Member, 64th District, January 14th, 2022.
Thank you, Jericho. Let's give it up. Our brother Jericho Torlolo. Congratulations, Frank. Awesome. Absolutely awesome. Well deserved. Oh, Jared, you forgot the check. Oh, there's no check. My bad. My bad, Jared. It looked like a check up here. I thought it was a check for $20,000. Sorry, Jared. Sorry, Frank. It wasn't a check. It was a piece of paper. At this time, one more presentation. Please give it up for our brother Fala. Fala, come on up, please, for the AIGA Foundation certificate, please. Let's give it up for Fala. Fala Trailoa. Fowler also was in jail last night with Jericho. They was roomies.
Wow. Well, a lot of you guys don't know me. Didn't grow up in Carson or Banny or anything like that. I'm the one who came from the hood they call Linwood. Oh, I'm sorry, it's Strongwood, not Linwood, Strongwood. And it's really an honor to be here tonight, especially for honoring Frank for all of his community work with all the young kids, and then on top of that, all the senior guys, all of the first generation to play all these professional sports. You know, you guys have been a big inspiration to a lot of these kids and to a lot of us. I think I'm older, but I think a lot of us. But so thank you guys for all of your positive, teaching of all the kids. That really means a lot. I do a lot of stuff. I help Wally when doing Athletes in Action. And then I help George with the AIGA Foundation. So I do a lot of stuff with different foundations. So tonight, if George, okay, they want me to stop. I guess we're waiting on Channel 7 or something. One second. I got it. But, talking about Pete, I'm sorry. Pete and I both did time. Pete, what were you in there for again? Criminal justice. Okay, I'd like to call up Mr. George Malaulu. George is presented by a certificate from the Assemblyman Mike Gibson with the 64th District. Come on up, George. This is in recognition of all your tremendous work with the AIGA Foundation. The Assemblyman Mike Gibson presented you with this award. So, George, thank you for all of your effort working with all the kids. Appreciate it. Don't stay there. Stay there. And then the Assemblyman also wants to present George, or to all of the AIGA Foundation members. He presented this certificate to say thank you to all of the members and all of their contributions that's still going on, the positive for all the kids, and now the girls. We finally got a sport for the girls, and they just had their first clinic with softball. But this is to the AIGA Foundation from Mike Gibson, the 64th District from Carson. Thank you, George.
I accept this on behalf of Big John and Big Frank. Frank, I love you. The fact that you're here with us, means the world to me. Just know that I love you, that's all. God bless you guys.
Thank you, George. Thank you, Fowler. Fowler, just a reminder, only I do the jokes up here. Okay, fella? Don't try it, homie. Don't try it, homeboy. Our next speaker, and as we close, behind every good man, there's a good woman, and we all know that. That's why my wife left me last week, so. But tonight, it ain't about me. It's about our guest of honor. And please give it up a really big hand for his beautiful wife, Selena. Monty Molina.
Well, this is a beautiful sight. And since I speak like my husband doesn't, I'm going to say things, that I know he feels, but that he might not say. So, first of all, I just want to thank George and the AIGA Foundation for this. This means a lot. And it's like a full circle moment, to see everyone here and to see everyone come. And that is proof of good works. Pure good works that people do when they want to help other people. And this is proof of it. Decades later, look, they still, it's like them in the movie when they say, build it and they will come. And this is beautiful, and this is who you guys are tonight. Thank you so much. So, and I also want to thank Harvey for this, this unapproved opportunity to speak. Because the thing is that I came into Frank's life as John left. And this is how good these works were. I was just a student at BYU Hawaii, I'm from San Diego. So I was dude, and Frank was like, yo, that's how different we are, okay? So I was going to school, and I was just a college student, and all of a sudden, because I had moved off campus and I was living in the community of Laie, all these boys that were like our brothers were, all of a sudden they were getting ready to go because this guy named Big John had passed away. And everybody was going, and I was like, my sister and I were like, man, this guy must be something because everybody wants to go and everybody knows him. And so one of those guys was a special brother friend of mine, and he was a cousin of Frank's, and he went to the funeral, and he was in the garage, Fale, and he called me one day and he said, I want you to meet my cousin. His name's Frank, he plays football. And I was like, I don't, I was the one that watched my brother play football, and I thought that, I thought that he was a rushing back. Okay, so I was that person, I was like, oh, okay, your brother plays. I didn't know who he was. And so anyway, fast forward, I come home on a break. These two guys, Wally Rank and Frank, drive up to my house because we're supposed to meet at about 9, and they come about 12, 11:30. I don't know, anyway, but that's how I met Frank. And they even tried to switch names and say that they were each other, Frank was Wally and Wally was Frank, but my dad knew it. My dad went, Frank, Wally, so I was like, all right. So that was our beginning, but I just want to tell you that the works that went into play with the Samoan Athletes in Action, even though these guys I know that were mentioned and everything, I know that it was a whole community that was behind them. Like some of the cousins and nieces are here tonight. I know that family was there to help. That community was there to help. People at school were there to help. And I know from my husband and just the way you can see this light go on in these guys that you think, they only love sports and stuff like that, You can see how dear these people were to them. And I remember James was one of the first people I met, and always felt so welcomed and like I had a place when I showed up. But anyway, I just want you all to know how much Frank loves you, that you all have a place in his heart, and that's how big his heart is. And I got the fob without the sob. I came in and it was done, But what you guys all testified tonight about my husband, it's true. And these times are really special for us as a family because he doesn't speak of himself. He never speaks of himself. He will speak of his coaches. He will speak of his players. He knows everybody's stats. He doesn't know the Bible like that, but, you know, it's okay. But God loves him still. And so do I. But this is very dear to him, and tonight was all this brought it back to the heart of the matter, I feel. And I'm so grateful for all of you that came, and for those that stayed, and for those that show your love and continue to show your love. And even though I wasn't a big, you know, major sports person, I was like, I love surfing and skateboarding and things like that. But I learned from being married to Frank that you do learn things that carry you through life when you participate in these things. You know, there's going to be a time when you're going to have to say, you know, wow, this isn't working. What do we got to do? We got to change it up. We got to change the play. We got to, you know, what's the goal? Is the goal still the same? Are we still working as a team? You know, those kinds of things, they all matter. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for John, because even though I didn't meet him, it was because of him that I met Frank. So God bless you all. And for all of those that are here that were there way back when, I want to congratulate you, because tonight you made platinum. Thank you. I love you, Frank. And I know he would just want us all to go on and keep doing good works within our homes first, within ourselves, be forgiving, loving of ourselves and others, and help lift each other along the way. We're all just trying to get there. Thank you very much. Good night.
God bless you. God bless you. Thank you, sis. I'm glad you know your husband now was a great running backer. Frank was the best running backer I ever seen in my life. Anyway, guys, Harv, I think that's the end. We're really humbled and grateful that everybody came out. Really, it was a beautiful thing, like Slinger said, to have. Yes, give yourselves a hand, everybody. Give yourselves a hand. And I just want to say, Frank, I love you, brother. There's no other words that I can say, man, but I love you, and I was honored and so privileged to be here tonight, not to be up here, but just to be here with you, Frank. I thank you, and I love you, big brother, and all the other brothers, man, the Tortola boys, man, Wally, the Sewell brothers, the Saleh Moore family. Thank you guys so much. So many to thank, man. The Snow family. I believe I could fly. I'm going to sing it again outside for you. But anyway, I love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Guys, be safe going home. And remember, we're in a pandemic, but wasn't it nice to spend a few hours not thinking about anything? Just thinking about the love in this room, amen? All we had was each other right here, right now. But just like Selena said, this has got to be forward. We got to pay this forward. You got to keep it going. We got to impact our kids. Brandon talked about their little kids. We got to impact our children. I got to tell Brandon's son that he's lying. He would never stand up to his dad in a game. So anyway, I love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Frank's here. I don't think, are we good with Frank saying anything? Frank is Marv. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Frank Manamalona. Jared. Go get him. Everybody have a seat. Especially you, Jericho. Oh, man. Hey, man. Much love to everybody, man. You know, all my thinking all this time when George them got this together, It was for the kids. It was for the all-star team. And then they said, they wanted Samoan athletes to actually do a reunion. That's all good. Let's all get together. So all this stuff I'm getting here, and they're talking about, we come here for you. Thank you. But the main thing why we're here, it was my brother Big John. He's the one that set this whole thing off, and that's why we're here. And I appreciate that I'm here representing him because he couldn't be here physically, but spiritually he's here with us as long as we do what is right to help our family and our kids. So I'm thankful for everybody that showed up, and for some of you that I know some of the things you said wasn't true. So I know where you live. And I live in Las Vegas now, so we know how to do it in Vegas. So we'll check your mailboxes next week. But this is great, great to do this. And Samoan athletes in action with my brother Harvey. And the family is going to do some more things with George, for the kids, not only for the boys, but now George is actively working with the girls, and we want to get those girls up to par with what we're doing now. And especially our brothers who couldn't be here that passed on, Tony Loia, Tyrone Sperling, anybody else I'm missing? Oh, Martine, Wilson Famigan, Sarah Mason, Michael, thank you very much. And I know we also brought together a lot of our high school growing up. Like, I grew up in Wilmington, right on the border. And then Carson became a city. And then in our neighborhood, right where we lived by the carousels, that became Carson. So we live Wilmington, Carson. So you go across the railroad tracks right over there by Dominic's Pizza. You're in Wilmington on one side, you're in Carson. So that's the neighborhood I lived at. So even though I was going to go to Carson, but my brother Big John said, "You stand right there. You're a pilot." And all my brothers over there, because we all played Pop Warner together down at Victoria Park. Me, Rowan, Marvin, Daryl Portillo, a bunch of Snockle, Simi. He was a younger one, but he had a big head, so he could play. We put Snockle down D-line, though. You could stop there. But that Bonnie Carson thing, it was always a good thing. And I don't know if Marv made it tonight, but me and him grew up together. And a lot of the coaches, as I found out later on, they said, "Man, y'all better go down to the LA area. There's a short, stocky guy and this tall, skinny guy. You guys need to go over there and recruit them." And me and Marv was in the middle of the season, my senior year, we took a trip to Nebraska. And that was when Nebraska was running the show back then. It was them in Oklahoma. And they wanted Marv to play nose and wanted me to be a linebacker. But we looked at each other and we go, "Man, I miss my family, man." If you're in Nebraska down in the Cornhusker State, you're in the middle of nowhere. But you know what they did? That we both liked. They fed us good. We ate steak every day. I said, "Man, either we're going to eat Spam or eat steak." So I guess me and Mark said, "We're going to eat Spam. Let's go back home." But, Marv is one of the best.
But thank you very much for coming, especially my little cousin Mike out there, Mike Fetters. I mean, my bad. Lavo Fefeta. Lavo Upu. But I knew, because Big John, he knew that he was playing baseball. And Big John used to go when Tony Soloito was playing baseball. He used to get tickets from the Angels, and John used to pick up kids. You want to go to a baseball game? Let's go. Took them all the way up to Anaheim to see a game. So when I found out that Mike was playing, I said, man, why you didn't tell me? I said, you got to keep up with Fefeto, man. He's a pitcher for the Dodgers, majority of his time in the major leagues. Today, he's one of the coaches for the Diamondback. So, much love to him, but I said, man, I got to meet Mike, man. Baseball? I know Murph. Murph was doing that thing for a while, got into coaching, and I think he was one of the first Samoan to coach Major League in college, in college. So, but thanks for coming, man. My wife said enough. She blew my whole... Man, she just took me outside and threw me and left me out there. And I'm going to let her know no more. Harvey, don't tell Selena about these functions no more. But I'm very blessed, because, I got 11 kids, and it wasn't my fault. I had to go to work, so. But, Allison's my oldest girl. Come down to Brandon, and I got a bunch of other kids. I told my kids, because these are the names, Zeus, Ulysses, Theophilus. My girls are Aaron and Devin, regular surf name. Beach girl names. And then Jana, then I got Triton, then Aries, then Tori. So they asked me, Dad, where'd you get these names? In Samoa, the Greeks, they used to hang out in Samoa. And then, as years went along, about 2,000 years ago, they went over there by Italy. And we go, serious? Yeah, that's your uncles and your cousins, the Greeks. So they believed me for a little bit until they talked to their mom. Their mom's like, your dad's off, man. But thank you once again. Thank you to George and Mauricio Harvey. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. And Big John, if he was here, he would say, let's continue to go out and do our thing, take care of our families, watch over the kids and help them out. Because even when, I'm not there or my wife ain't there, I expect some of my brothers or my sisters, the elderly ones, regardless who you are, you straighten them out. Because that's the way it was when I was growing up, because my mom said, hey, if Frank is not listening or whatever, I give you the power. See that hand? Come right across. So I made sure I wasn't around any of my aunties or uncles, because so that's how I got quick. I used to run all the time. So, thank you again, Coach. Thanks for coming. Vince, Coach Bakuba, man, nice to see you guys. So you guys enjoy, one love, and you guys take care. Yeah.
I love you. Let's give it up for Frank. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our program for tonight. Thank you again. God bless you. Be safe going home. God bless you all. Good night.